Let me tell you a story about my friend. She was the kind of girl everyone looked up to. Incredibly smart, always at the top of her class. Teachers trusted her, her classmates respected her, and even people who barely knew her would say things like, "She's going to be something great one day." But it wasn't just her grace that made her special. She was genuinely sweet, so gentle and kind. She had this way of helping people quietly, without ever making them feel small. It was like kindness was just a part of who she was. From the outside, her life looked like a dream. Her father was a doctor, and her mother was a university professor. They were successful, always busy with work, meetings, and social events. She was their only child. I believe they loved her, they really did. But they were hardly ever there. Their days were packed, their phones never stopped ringing, and their house often felt more like a place she lived in than a home she belonged to. So, even though she had everything people could ever want, she was deeply, profoundly alone. In her neighborhood, there was this boy. He was a bit older, smart, and had this air of confidence about him. He was drawn to her because she was different. He liked that she was intelligent and had goals. Most importantly, he paid attention to her. He actually listened. And slowly, he became the one person she could talk to about all the things she couldn't share at home. Sometimes, she'd open up to him about really personal things she wished she could tell her own mother. But her mom was always caught up with work or social gatherings, and her dad was always at the hospital. My friend kept waiting for the right moment to connect with them, but that moment just never seemed to arrive. The boy, on the other hand, seemed to care. He would check in on her, speak to her gently, and make her feel like she was seen. Then, her birthday came around. She was so excited. She planned everything herself, the decorations, the food. She wanted a small celebration, but the one thing she truly wanted more than any gift was to spend her birthday with her parents. But, as usual, they had other plans. They told her they had to attend a dinner at a friend's house. And just like that, they left her behind again, on her birthday. That was the night something inside her broke. She felt hurt, ignored, and completely unwanted in her own home. Lost in that pain, she went to find the boy. She cried in front of him, that raw, uncontrollable kind of crying that comes when you've been holding everything in for far too long. They both drank that night. They were both emotional, and in that vulnerable moment, they made a mistake. They slept together. The next morning, the reality of what happened hit her, and regret washed over her. At first, the boy still acted like he cared, but that feeling of comfort didn't last. A month later, her worst fear came true. She found out she was pregnant. When she told him, his reaction shattered her world all over again. He was unemployed, and his first and only response was that he couldn't afford a child. There was no talk of responsibility, no offer of support. He just told her to go to a doctor and get an abortion. But for my friend, it wasn't that simple. She had spent her entire life feeling alone. She had no brothers or sisters. Growing up, all she ever wished for was someone to be close to her, someone who wouldn't leave. So, even though this baby was the result of a mistake, it started to feel like someone who would finally belong to her. Someone she could love and who would love her back. Someone who would stay. Finally, she gathered all her courage and decided to tell her mother. She called her and confessed everything. She was hoping, praying, that they would understand, that they would protect her and stand by her side. But instead, the fear of what society would think was stronger than their love for their own daughter. Her parents were ashamed. They were terrified of the gossip, of the judgment. They wanted her to fix it quietly. And when she couldn't, they kicked her out of the house. She had nowhere to go. The boy she thought cared about her had rejected the baby. Her own parents had rejected her. The world just became a colder and colder place. One night, I got a text from her. She told me she felt broken. She said she couldn't handle the pain anymore. She described her life as perfectly imperfect. And then she sent a message that stopped my heart. She said she was going to leave this world. I panicked. I called her immediately again and again, but she didn't answer. I rushed to her house as fast as I could, praying the whole way that I would be in time, but I wasn't. She was gone. She left this world just 2 months pregnant. She was carrying a new life inside her, all while feeling like nobody in the world cared about her own. And to this day, I still feel the pain of that night. Because the truth is, she didn't have to die. She didn't need judgment or shame. She needed love. She needed someone to listen. More than anything, she needed her own family to choose her. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that you are not alone and help is available. There are people who want to listen and support you. You can connect with them by calling or texting 988 in the US and Canada, or by calling 111 in the UK. These services are free, confidential, and available 24/7. Please reach out. Your life is incredibly valuable. Thank you for listening.